Let's talk Teacup. Teacup is a horror series that was on Peacock for the last 4 weeks. They did like 2 episodes every week. And I guess since I'm kind of late to the party here, because I get the feeling like this was timed to be released around Halloween, and it certainly has some seriously interesting horror elements. And I will have to say, I was hooked on the first 2 episodes, and I'll explain why. But then, as the show progressed, I got more and more confused, and I just sort of lost interest. Now, here's the deal. I'll have to say, if you're like me, you're watching TV while you're doing something else. Because, let's face it, we all have our computers in front of us, or our smartphones. So while we're checking on our Facebook status, we're also got this show in the background. And unless it's really captivating, which I have to admit, we're seeing kind of less captivating shows these days, but some of them are really going all out as much as they can to really garner your attention because they know that people are looking at their second screen. Anyway, Teacup feels like it's taken from Stephen King. It feels, it has that same type of vibe. Specifically, I think The Shining. Teacup takes place at this veterinary hospital, which is located in some farm, kind of in some small town somewhere, and I don't even think we even really see any bigger part of this town. So I kind of get the feeling like maybe they were saving on the budget on this. So there's a lot going on this show. And when I say it's stealing from Stephen King, I think it's really stealing more from, say, The Shining. Because these characters are essentially trapped in their surroundings. This is where the show started to hook me. On all the promotional material for Peacock, there's a guy in a gas mask. And I'm going, and he's doing something like this, or something like that, I think. And so when we actually see this character, what happens is he's spray painting a very exact line around this farm that these people are in. And actually, I think it's like encompasses several farms. I think it encompasses like several miles. Hopefully, he had a lot of spray paint. And there's a great scene. Honestly, one of the awesome scenes is 2 of the main characters see the line and they see the guy in the gas mask. And this guy in the gas mask has this whiteboard and he writes on it, "Don't cross the blue line," or "Don't cross the line," something like that. And then one of the characters just goes, "It's just paint." And I thought, that's probably what I would say. And then the guy actually erases the stupid whiteboard and draws a little circle and has the two X's in it to show the 2 main characters. And one of the main characters says, "Are we the 2 X's?" And I'm going like, yeah, I would probably say that too. And I'm kind of going like, all right, this is pretty hysterical in a way, but it's also kind of neat. And at some point in time, I think somebody tries to cross the line at that interval. And if somebody does cross this line, their body like turns inside out or something. It's this crazy thing. So yeah, this is where the horror movie elements get into play. So, and I think they try and cross the line at this point, and he's like got a gun, and I'm going like, it's like, you could probably cross the line somewhere else if you really suspected this. And there's a really neat scene I remember where they showed like this snake is crossing the line, and part of the snake is normal, but the other part, the head part, is all like bleh, turned inside out. And I thought like, oh my gosh, this is a very exact line, isn't it? As far as what is causing this thing, apparently a meteorite crash, and I could be totally wrong about this. And I think aliens are like invading, and maybe this is the first step. And yeah, I'm gonna get into spoiler territory on this. This doesn't end with this season. Unfortunately, it does go on, which is, I sort of, when you're watching something and you're going like, how much time is left in this? They're never gonna resolve all this in this amount of time. And I knew that it was like, okay, they're either gonna have that ending where it's like, oh no, the whole world is infected, and have that really downer sci-fi type of ending that a lot of 70s movies had, or they're just gonna end it and hope they get another season. I don't know if they'll get another season on this. Okay, so why is the show called Teacup? Well, from the very beginning, I think there's a scene where a mother sees a wasp, and instead of killing the wasp, she finds a teacup, puts the teacup on the wasp, and then puts a piece of paper underneath it, and then releases the wasp out in the wild. And I thought, oh, that's the teacup they were talking about. And I believe that's an important concept for what is going on, because apparently that farmland here is infected by this weird meteorite thing that is sprouting this kind of strange rainbow-like tree. And apparently there's like a good alien and there's like a bad alien, and the bad alien can jump from body to body by basically looking at you and then going like, ah, and then breathing itself in you, and then your eyes turn this weird kind of rainbow shade, and then you're sort of like evil now. That's kind of how this works. There's a young kid in this film. I think the kid is named Arlo, or at least that's not the actor's name, that's the character's name. He gets infected by a being that he refers to as Harbinger, and apparently Harbinger is the good guy. And the way this kid is performing reminds me of the kid Danny Torrance, the character in the movie The Shining. That is, he's obviously possessed by this character. He's obviously possessed by Harbinger, but apparently those two kind of jump in and out as far as who's in control of the mind or who is speaking at the time. It's actually kind of interesting, and the kid does a pretty decent job of doing this. A lot of horror movies do involve performances of child characters acting really creepy. This kid pulls it off pretty well, I have to say. So not bad. So at some point in time, I think the show lost my interest when they actually reveal the face of the gas mask man. And then I believe that there is an episode that's kind of a lot of shows are doing this now. Say, for example, The Penguin, which I'm going to get to later, have an entire episode that's devoted to a flashback. That is, you're seeing like all this stuff that happened before the show as we know it happened. And so they're kind of like doing something like that, but it just actually, instead of enthralling me more, it actually enthralled me less. And there's this weird thing where apparently like this bits of meteorite rock, if they are liquefied and then turned into this rainbow juice, and you drink the rainbow juice, you can cross the line. And they actually saw that being tested by, I don't know, like they had like a jar of it, and then it dropped, and then it spilled, and this wolf drinks it, and then the wolf crosses the line, so that's how they know it works. And I kind of thought, okay, I get where you're going with this. I guess we had to figure, there was a lot of things in this film or this series that I went like, that as a writer I kind of went, okay, I know why this scene is here to show that you can do this, because I know the rule of show not tell, and you do too. So, this is, so I believe at the end they all somehow get this rainbow juice and they drink it, and then they're able to cross. And then it just sort of gets into like, oh no, this is just beginning. And then they meet, I think, two strangers that I don't think we've seen before, or maybe we have and I just wasn't paying attention. And they're killed by this guy who's driving a car, and he does this spin out thing, knocks one way and one the other. And I'm going like, that's a pretty controlled spin. My mind just wasn't buying that. I kind of went like, yeah, you really got lucky on that one. But hey, I mean, I kind of just went like, I just kind of went like, okay, there's enough wild stuff going on this show that I'm kind of willing to believe that, but not quite. Am I looking forward to a second season of this? I mean, if it shows up and if I can watch it for free, I probably will, but do I really want to watch the entire first season just so I'm kind of caught up to date on this? In fact, I probably should have researched like every single episode to figure out what meant what here, and I'm sure I could probably watch YouTube videos explaining it to me. And hey, maybe you might like this if you like horror. Anyways, this is Mark from the Geek Church, signing off.